Hey, Dan Cochimillo here with NorCal Sports Network, a video on the San Francisco Giants and when will they contend, not just for a playoff position, but when will they be a legitimate World Series champion contender? All right, before we get started in this video, let us thank our sponsor, Chapman Law Group. Check them out in the description of this video. And as always, everybody, if you would give it a like and subscribe, we would really appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, let's get into this. When will the Giants contend? It's going into the 25 season. They signed Willy Adames early on, one of the first acquisitions in free agency of all free agents. And since then, it's been dormant. Lots of talk around Corbin Burns. And is he going to be a Giant? Is he going to be a Blue Jay? Is there a dark horse out there? There's a dark horse. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Look for the Chicago Cubs. They have the salary opening, and Burns pitched for manager Craig Counsell in Milwaukee for most of his career. So there's that possibility. Maybe Burns ends up signing a shorter term deal along the lines of Blake Snell did last year and then re-enters free agency. I would think the Cubs would try to maybe go after Burns. Maybe there's a short-term, like a 3-year deal. We'll see where this goes. But Giants so far, all they have to show for it is Willy Adames. And right now they are not a contender. And we've discussed this on NorCal Sports numerous times. But if they do add Burns, it makes them closer to a contender. But I don't think it makes them anywhere near being a World Series championship contender. So right now I have the Giants on the outside looking in for the playoffs. But let's look at their future, shall we? It looks like the left field of the diamond is set for years to come with Chapman and Adames. Adames will eventually have to move off a shortstop as he ages into that contract, but he's probably got another good 3, maybe 4 years left at shortstop, I would think. He's 29, so I would think he could maybe even play 5 years at shortstop. Maybe the last couple of the contract he ends up to move over to second base, possibly third base. We'll see. But what do the Giants have on the horizon? If you look at their team, of course, Bryce Eldridge, one of the most promising prospects the Giants have had probably since Buster Posey, without a doubt. So this kid looks like he may be special. So pencil in Bryce Eldridge, say at the beginning of the 26th season. Now, he may come up and play in 25. That's probably likely at some point we see Bryce Eldridge in the 25 season, but I'm going to pencil him in as 26, where he's the opening day starter. Second base, that's a toss-up right now. Does Tyler Fitzgerald get the job? Does he keep it? Does Casey Schmidt overtake him? Is it somebody else? And we'll look at the free agents coming up for the 26 and 27 season. But just looking at the farm system, James Tibbs is slotted. He's the second-ranked prospect the Giants have, their number 1 draft pick last year. He is estimated time of arrival is the 26 season. Maybe it's premature 26. Maybe it's late 26 or 27. We'll see. Pitching, their third prospect is Carson Wisenhunt. He could see some time in the 25 season. Now, their fourth prospect in the farm system is Dakota Jordan, the kid out of Mississippi, where he went to Mississippi State, and he excelled in both football as a wide receiver and as a baseball player, and he gave up football. Now, this kid has really raw talent. He can smash the ball, okay? He is a guy with great upside, huge exit velocities, and plus power to all fields. The problem that I see for Dakota Jordan is that in college baseball, he had a 29% K rate. That's a lot to strike out 29% of the time in college. I don't know once he starts facing elite pitching Is he going to be able to cut that down? That's the problem with Dakota Jordan. If he can figure that out and stop chasing curveballs, this kid could be special because he's got a lot of power, like I said. Now, if we look at some of the other guys, Rainer Arias, number 5 prospect, he's slated in 27. Walker Martin in 27. Reggie Crawford is slated for 25. He's injured. I don't see him coming up till 26. And then rounding out the top 10 is Maui Ahuna, drafted a couple years ago as a shortstop. I don't think this Giants farm system, which is ranked very low, last in Major League Baseball by Bleacher Report, and in the bottom third by almost every minor league ratings reports. They are all, the Giants do not have a top farm system. So they're going to have to look to get better by trade and free agency. Now, they haven't been able to land much in free agency when it comes to superstar type hitters. If we look at the 26 class of free agents for the Giants to get better, there's really 2 in the top of the class, and that's Vladdy Guerrero Jr. and Kyle Tucker. Cody Bellinger could be a free agent again next year. And then we look at some of the players on the position. Kyle Schwarber, that's not going to do much. Kyle Schwarber is going to be 33.8 years of age right now, or when he enters that free agency at that time. Kyle Tucker, he will be almost 30 entering into the 26th season. He's a difference maker. I'm just looking at the list here. I don't see anything that makes this club. Luis Arias, but where are you going to play him? Eldridge will be your first baseman. Arias can play some second base, not the greatest range, but I like him as a hitter. He's young. I might look at Luis Arias. I would actually like Luis Arias manning first base for the Giants, even though he's not great defensively. They need his bat. They need a type of bat like Luis Arias in that lineup. The rest of the free agency, nothing special at all. Bo Bichette, he could play. Maybe you can move him to second base or have him play short and move Adames to second. There's that possibility that the Giants could look at in the 26 free agency class. Luis Robert Jr., he has a club option, so he's not going anywhere. Whoever I would think gets Luis Robert that $20 million will be pretty inexpensive. Hey, Buster boy, got my dog in here. He's whining because we got people outside. So let's see. I'm just looking here through the rest of this list. Nothing special. Okay. That's the 26. It's just, yeah. And pitching, if we looked at pitching itself, let me just scroll. Boy, that's a long list of free agents. Pitching for the 26 season. Let's look at starting pitching here. Montgomery, Buehler, if he has a really good year with Boston this year, he might find himself commanding a longer-term deal. Framber Valdez, that would be a guy you might want to go after. He will be 33 at the time. I'm looking here. Kodai Senga has an opt-out, so he can opt out of the Mets contract there. He might do that. I'm looking here. Dylan Cease, there's a guy that might be available. So the Giants are going to have to, if they're going to compete and be a real true contender, they're going to have to go after some guys because the Giants just don't have it in their system. And if you want to look ahead to 27, let's take a look at the 27. Oops, I had it up and I actually could have just changed it here. Let me go to the 2027 season here and take a look at the top free agents there again, we got Cody Bellinger, George Springer, who will be 38 at that time. Not worth it. Guys are getting older and older. Gosman on the pitching side, he's going to be almost 37 in 2 years. I don't like much of the free agents. I don't see any as I'm scrolling down. Are we still on pitching? No, we're in all positions here. I'm looking to see if there's Seiya Suzuki will be an unrestricted free agent. He will be 33 at the time. Some of these guys are on here constantly, year after year. Yandy Diaz, first base, 36. No, you got Bryce Eldridge. So there's really nothing out there that's coming up that looks like star. Ozzy Albies, he could be a guy. Well, nope, the Braves have a club option. Same with Ronald Acuna, club option. They're not going anywhere. So the Braves will keep those guys. There's just nothing really out there like we had this offseason when there's been several free agents that were pretty good ball players. And so I don't see the Giants really hitting anything home runs there when it comes to signing free agents. Their best bet is if somehow they can get Vladdy Guerrero Jr. next year or Kyle Tucker. They're going to have to really get one of those guys. But when I look at the farm system, I don't see it really producing anybody spectacular except Eldridge. Going back to the list, Tibbs could be a contact type hitter and get on base. Jordan's a hit or miss, in my opinion. Walker Martin, that's a kid that had really good numbers in high school. He could surprise. So I would think the earliest the Giants, unless they go out and land some players through trade and or in free agency that are difference makers, I think we're looking at quite a while. It'd be a guess when I think the Giants could be real contenders. But I would say the earliest would be probably 2028. So you've got 25, 26, and 27 to go. That could change. You could bump it up to 27. The Giants, how they're going to contend, and the quickest way to contend is starting pitching. The Giants need to sign Corbin Burnes. And if they can get a Roki Sasaki and a Burnes, or go out and make some trades and add some frontline starters, that would be the Giants' quickest way to contend, because I don't see the star players coming. Now, Bryce Eldridge is if he's everything that the Giants think he could be special in the middle of that Giants order, and it can change. He can change quite a bit. So if Eldridge becomes a superstar, the Giants could contend earlier. I will say that, because if you have Chapman and Adames and Ramos and Lee contributes, and maybe you get some production out of a Matos or a trade, and then all of a sudden Eldridge comes in and add the pitching, you could move that timeline up from 2028 to 2027, where they could be World Series contenders. I think if they make the right moves, they could be a playoff contender in 26, possibly as early as next year in 25, if they add Corbin Burnes and get another bat in the lineup. So tell me what you think. When will the Giants contend? Will they contend in this decade? Are they going to be any good in the next 5 seasons, 25, 6, 7, 8, and 9? 5 more years of this decade before we go to 2030. Are the Giants, is the 2020s the long lost decade after 3 World Series championships in the 2010 decade? Well, we're going to have to wait and see. Hopefully the Giants will be contending by 2027 at the latest. But I think it's going to be a little longer, personally, the way I'm looking at this lineup. But 2 keys: Corbin Burnes signed, Bryce Eldridge reaches stardom pretty quickly. If that's the case, the Giants will turn it around much quicker than I'm saying. So let's hope that's the case. Tell me what you think of the comments below in the comments section. We really do appreciate the comments. We try to, get back to those, as many as possible. And again, thanks for watching. You can follow me there on X as you see below my name there, NorCal Sports NW, right there on Twitter, NorCal Sports NW. Appreciate you watching this video. Take care, everybody, and we will see you on the next one.